You're sitting at the kitchen table on a Tuesday night. Not the cute Pinterest kitchen table either. The one with the scratches in it, the junk mail pile, the half-dead phone charger, and the vibe of quiet panic. Your laptop is open, your banking app is open, and you're doing that thing where you refresh like the numbers are going to magically rearrange themselves into financial stability. You make $110,000 a year. On paper, you're supposed to be fine. You're supposed to be upper middle class. You're supposed to be past the point where a car repair can ruin your month. But you're staring at your checking account thinking, if the transmission goes, I'm done. And the worst part? You can't even talk about it without someone rolling their eyes because you said 6 figures. Because 6 figures is supposed to mean vacations and maxed out retirement accounts and calm. But you don't feel calm. You feel like you're drowning in a house that looks successful from the outside. That is the 6-figure poverty trap. And tonight we're going to talk about why this is happening, who built this financial prison, and what you do to get out. Without a side hustle cult, without crypto brain damage, and without pretending you're rich for other broke people. Let that sink in. Look, here's the thing. This isn't a you bought too much Starbucks lecture. This is a system designed to extract maximum value from people who actually work for their money. A system where the middle class gets squeezed through a pipe of taxes, insurance, fees, and inflated living costs, while the top gets loopholes, asset games, and I borrowed against my stock so I didn't have income. Wizardry. And if you think I'm exaggerating, here's the stat that should make your stomach drop. There are billionaires who have reported effective tax rates near 0.1% in certain years because when your wealth grows through assets, you can avoid income in the way the tax code cares about. That's been documented through investigative reporting and analyses of ultra-wealthy tax behavior. Meanwhile, you're a W-2 worker. Your taxes come out automatically. You don't get to negotiate. You don't get to delay. You don't get to optimize. You get withheld. You are the easiest person in America to bill, and the system bills you like clockwork. That's the villain, a structural tax and cost machine that treats the middle class like an ATM with legs. And it gets worse because of what I call the split-screen economy. On one screen, restaurants are packed. Costco is a monument to American excess, new cars everywhere, everyone's traveling. Social media is basically one long highlight reel of, we're doing amazing. On the other screen, you're doing the math at your kitchen table like a forensic accountant trying to figure out where the money evaporated. And you start questioning your own reality. Am I just bad with money? No, what you're seeing is the split screen. The economy looks rich because debt makes everyone look rich for a while. Individuals are broke because the baseline cost of existence has gotten insane. People are performing financial stability for an audience of other financially stressed people. It's like a community theater production called We're Fine, sponsored by Visa. And you're sitting there thinking you missed the memo. You didn't. You're just the one looking at the receipts. Now, let's get clinical. All right, you make $110,000. Here's what most people don't realize. You never actually touch most of it. Because before you buy a single grocery, before you fix a single tire, before you invest a single dollar, you pay what I call existence taxes. These are the costs of simply being a functioning adult in America. And on $110,000, a realistic estimate for a lot of households looks like this. Federal income tax, effective rate after standard deduction, brackets, etc. FICA payroll taxes, social paso, security plus Medicare. State income tax, varies by state obviously. Property tax, if you own, and if you rent, it's baked into rent anyway. Health insurance premiums plus out-of-pocket exposure. Add it up and you're looking at roughly, let that sink in. That means your $110,000 income doesn't start at $110,000. It starts at, so the real question is not, why can't you live on $110,000? The real question is, why can't you live on $70,114 while prices pretend you make $110,000? And now we hit the next layer of the trap. The world heard 6 figures and raised the prices. This is where I need you to stop listening to average anything. Average is how they sell you a narrative. Median is where real people live. Median household income in the US is roughly in the $70,000 to $80,000 range depending on the year and data set. Census estimates. Meaning half of households are below that. So when you net down to around $70,000 after existence taxes, you're basically living at something close to median household reality, but with six-figure expectations stapled to your forehead. And if you're in a high-cost area, if you have kids, if you have student loans, if you're paying today's insurance rates, that $70,000 doesn't feel like median. It feels like you're one unexpected bill away from a credit card spiral. Because you might be. Now let's talk about how the six-figure trap finishes the job. The system doesn't just tax you, it nudges you into monthly payments. Because monthly payments are the perfect extraction tool. A payment is a subscription to your own financial stress. And this is where the status game destroys people. You get the better apartment because you make good money. You get the nicer car because you deserve it. You upgrade the everything because you're trying to feel what you were promised six figures would feel like. But instead of freedom, you get car payment, insurance payment, bigger rent or bigger mortgage more, maintenance, more expectations, more just keep up spending. And suddenly your six-figure life is just a more expensive version of broke. This is where it gets really interesting. A lot of people aren't broke because they don't make enough. They're broke because their lifestyle is built out of fixed obligations. So when life punches you in the mouth, car repair, medical bill, job shakeup, your budget doesn't bend. It snaps. Now I'm going to do the opportunity cost math that nobody wants to do. Let's say you have a car payment, not even a crazy one. Let's say it's $750 a month. That's painfully normal right now. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but I need a reliable car? Fine, I'm not arguing you should ride a unicycle to work. I'm arguing that the payment culture is a retirement eviction notice. Because if instead of $750 to a car lender, you invested $750 per month into a boring index fund, VTI, VOO, VTSAX, whatever, earning a historically reasonable 8% average annual return over the long term. Over 30 years, that becomes roughly monthly contribution, $750, time, 30 years return, approximately 8%. That's about $1.1 million. Read that again. That normal car payment is $1 million decision. And that's not even the full cost because cars also come with higher insurance repairs, registration taxes, depreciation, your money literally evaporating in your driveway. So when someone says it's only $750, what they mean is it's only $1 million later. Let that sink in. And if you want more stomach drop math, do it with two payments. Car payment plus keeping up, housing upgrade, plus financed furniture plus lifestyle subscriptions. That's how you end up with someone making $110,000 who feels like they make $45,000. Now, quick thing. If you want more of these receipts and the exact playbook to widen your gap without hating your life, hit subscribe. Because the system is loud and your plan has to be louder. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I'm not irresponsible. I'm not buying yachts. Right. That's why this trap works. It doesn't require you to be dumb. It requires you to be human. A few psychological landmines. Social proof. Everyone around you is upgrading, so your brain assumes it's normal and safe, even if they're financing it with stress. Identity spending. You don't buy the nicer thing for the thing. You buy it to feel like the person who made it. Hedonic adaptation. The upgrade feels amazing for about 11 minutes. Then it becomes the new normal, and you need another hit. The I deserve it narrative. Yes, you deserve a good life, but deserve is not a financial strategy. It's how lifestyle inflation walks in wearing a halo. And all of this happens inside the split-screen economy, where the world looks like it's thriving and you feel broken for struggling. You're not broken. You're just finally seeing the machine. Now let's talk about the boring solution. No, miracles. No hacks. No 30 streams of income. Just one objective. The gap is the difference between what you earn and what you spend. That's it. Because the gap is where your freedom lives. Not in your salary, not in your job title, not in your car badge. In the gap. And the first step is brutal. If you're buying things to look like you're doing well, you are volunteering for extraction. Your friends are not paying your interest. Your coworkers are not funding your retirement. Your Instagram is not going to cover your emergency. I want you to build a buffer that makes your nervous system unclench. Start with $1,000, then 1 month of expenses, then 3 months. This buffer is what stops the credit card spiral when life happens. Because life is not a surprise. Life is a subscription. You don't try to invest, you automate it. If you have a 401k, contribute at least enough to get the match. That's free money. Then push toward 15% total investing if you can. 401k plus. Roth IRA plus brokerage. Invest in broad low-cost index funds, VTI/VOO/VTSAX type funds. Not because it's sexy, because it works. This is how normal people beat a rigged vibe. Consistency. Credit card interest is a wealth extraction machine. If you're carrying balances at 20% plus APR, the market can't save you. Pay it down aggressively, then never go back. Most budgets don't fail because of coffee. They fail because of housing, transportation, insurance/healthcare. If you want to widen the gap fast, you don't start by canceling Spotify. You start by asking, do I need this car payment? Do I need this zip code? Can I shop insurance? Can I downshift one level without ruining my life? One level down is often the difference between drowning and breathing. Okay, Nick, but rent is insane. Correct. That's why you need a gap. But childcare is insane. Correct. That's why you need a gap. But groceries are insane. Correct. That's why you need a gap. You're not going to out-earn a system that raises the baseline cost of existence unless you build a financial structure that can survive it. Your goal is not to look rich. Your goal is to be unexploitable. And the only way to become unexploitable is low fixed expenses, a buffer automated investing, and time. Time is the ingredient you can't fake. 6 figures isn't for luxury, it's for leverage. It's for buying back your future. It's for escaping the financial prison of payments. It's for turning that $110,000 into a machine that builds wealth quietly while you sleep. But you can't do that if you hand your entire gap to lenders, brands, and the status game. Because the status game is a treadmill. And the treadmill doesn't care how tired you are. So here's the truth. A $110,000 income can absolutely feel like poverty. Because nearly $40,000 can get extracted in existence taxes before your life even begins. And in the split-screen economy, you'll feel crazy because everyone else looks fine. They're not fine. They're financed. Stop playing the status game. Build the buffer. Automate the investing. Widen the gap until you can breathe again. Because nobody is coming to rescue the middle class, and the only way out is math, discipline, and boring consistency. The math doesn't wait, and neither does the 6-figure poverty trap.